Have you ever stopped for a moment, closed your eyes, and tried to imagine the life you truly want? Maybe it's a life filled with freedom, peace, financial abundance, or perhaps it's a love that feels so deep and powerful it changes you forever. We've all heard people say that visualization is the key to creating the reality we desire. But here's the hidden truth. Most people are doing it in a way that almost guarantees failure. And the reason isn't because they're lazy or because they don't deserve it. It's because they've misunderstood how their own mind and emotions interact with the deeper layers of reality. When you think of visualization, what comes to mind? For many, it's sitting quietly, picturing a big house, a fancy car, or a perfect job. They imagine themselves smiling, maybe even walking into that dream scenario as if it's already real. And yet weeks, months, even years later, nothing has changed. Why? Because visualization isn't just about making mental pictures. It's about aligning the picture with an emotional frequency that resonates with the quantum field of possibilities. If you only imagine without emotion, it's like trying to play a song without sound. You may be pressing the keys, but no music is heard. Here's the paradox. The people who want change the most are often the ones blocking it. They sit down, they visualize, but inside they're carrying the energy of doubt, frustration, and impatience. They look at their current reality and whisper to themselves, "It's not working." And in that very moment, they reinforce the exact energy they're trying to escape. Visualization without belief, without deep emotional resonance, is like planting seeds in a frozen field. The soil isn't ready, so nothing grows. But let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment when you were so lost in a daydream that your body reacted as if it were real? Maybe you imagined an argument and felt your heart racing. Or you pictured yourself on a sunny beach and actually felt your muscles relax. That is the raw power of the mind. That is what happens when your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. This is the place where quantum visualization becomes more than just fantasy. It becomes creation. Science has shown us that our brains fire the same neurons, whether we experience something physically or vividly imagine it. To your subconscious, there is no line between what's real and what's vividly pictured with emotional energy. That's why athletes rehearse success in their minds before ever stepping on the field. That's why musicians close their eyes and play entire symphonies in their imagination before touching their instrument. And this is why visualization can transform your life, if you do it with the right emotional frequency. Think about this. The quantum field is like an ocean of infinite possibilities waiting for you to dive in. Each thought, each image, each emotional charge you carry acts like a pebble dropped into that ocean. The ripples expand outward, interacting with everything else. If you drop a pebble of fear, the ripples carry fear. If you drop a pebble of joy, the ripples carry joy. The universe is not responding to your words or your surface-level pictures. It is responding to the vibration you embody. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you sit down to visualize a life of abundance while secretly feeling lack, you are amplifying lack. If you picture love while secretly feeling lonely, you amplify loneliness. And if you imagine success while carrying doubt, you amplify doubt. This is why most people get it wrong. They are focusing on the picture without shifting the feeling. They are trying to paint a masterpiece on a canvas that's soaked with fear and frustration. But here's the good news. You can change this. You can train yourself to step into the frequency of the life you desire before it arrives. And this isn't about forcing yourself to fake happiness or pretend everything is perfect. It's about remembering how it feels to be alive, to be grateful, to be present in this very moment. Gratitude is the bridge. When you tap into gratitude, not for what's coming, but for what already exists, you begin to shift your inner state. And once your inner state shifts, your visualization gains power. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine something simple. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of laughter, the smell of fresh rain. These are small but powerful anchors of emotion. When you add them to your visualization practice, you're no longer just drawing mental pictures. You're creating an emotional landscape. And it is this landscape that speaks to the quantum field. Now imagine yourself walking into a version of your life that feels extraordinary, but instead of seeing it like a distant movie, imagine stepping inside it. Feel the texture of the chair you're sitting on in that dream home. Hear the sound of your own laughter as you celebrate success with people you love. Sense the calm in your chest as you realize you are living in alignment with who you were always meant to be. Don't just see it, be it. Let your body experience the scene as if it's unfolding now. In this state, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system begins to adapt to the new reality. Your subconscious starts to accept it as familiar. The doubt softens. the impatience fades, and suddenly, your actions in daily life begin to align with that inner vision. Opportunities appear, not because they weren't there before, but because your perception is now tuned to notice them. This is the silent language of the universe, frequency recognizing frequency. I want you to carry forward. Visualization is not about seeing the future, it's about becoming the future. It's not about begging the universe for change, it's about embodying the change so completely that the universe has no choice but to mirror it back to you. Most people sit on the outside of their dreams, staring at them like a painting in a museum. But the secret is to step inside the painting and live it until it becomes your new normal. And as we move deeper into this journey, you'll see how every emotion you allow, every belief you hold, and every thought you repeat is shaping the canvas of your reality. Scene by scene, moment by moment, you are already painting your life. The only question is, are you painting what you truly want? Or are you replaying the patterns you wish to escape? The moment you begin to step into this new reality with your emotions, something inside of you starts to shift. At first it feels subtle, almost unnoticeable. You might find yourself smiling at small things that once frustrated you. You might catch yourself feeling lighter in situations that used to weigh you down. This is the first signal that your frequency is changing. It is proof that you are no longer locked into the same old cycle of thought and feeling that kept you stuck. And once you notice the shift, the next step becomes possible, expanding the visualization beyond a personal dream into a state of being that changes the way you see the entire world. Most people visualize in isolation. They picture themselves, their goals, their desires. But if you really want to unlock the power of quantum visualization, you must stretch it further. You must begin to imagine not only your own joy, but how your joy ripples out and touches others. Because when you visualize a life that only benefits you, your energy can become narrow, even self-centered. But when you visualize in a way that connects your well-being to the well-being of others, you open a doorway to something much larger. The frequency of contribution, love, and unity is infinitely more powerful than the frequency of self-gratification. Imagine this. You're standing in a room filled with people you care about. You're living the life you once only dreamed of. But instead of keeping that feeling inside, you see it radiating outward. Your abundance allows you to help others. Your calm presence lifts the energy of the entire room. The love you carry within yourself becomes a mirror, reflecting love back to you from every direction. This is the essence of connected visualization. It transforms your personal dream into a shared vibration that resonates with the collective field. The mistake most people make is thinking that visualization is a mental trick to get what they want. But in reality, visualization is a practice of becoming who you are meant to be. It's less about attracting a car or a house, and more about transforming your frequency so fully that your external life cannot help but reorganize itself around you. This is why the how doesn't matter. The universe doesn't need you to figure out the logistics. It needs you to embody the state of being that matches the outcome. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you turn the dial to a specific frequency, you don't force the station to appear. It simply comes through because you matched the signal. The music was already there, invisible, waiting. The only thing you did was adjust yourself to the right frequency. Visualization works the same way. When you immerse yourself emotionally into a vision, you are tuning your mind and body to that signal. And when the signal is strong enough, the external reality begins to play the same song. Now, here's the deeper truth that most people avoid. Your subconscious beliefs determine whether your visualization has power or not. You can spend hours picturing a beautiful life, but if deep down you believe you're unworthy, your visualization will feel like a movie you're not allowed to star in. The subconscious will reject it. That's why so many people quit. They feel like they're lying to themselves. But you're not lying. You're practicing. You're rehearsing. You're teaching your subconscious a new story until it finally believes it. There's a reason repetition is so important. Each time you repeat a visualization with emotional energy, you're carving a new path in your brain, strengthening neural connections. Over time, this path becomes easier to travel. What once felt fake begins to feel familiar. And once it feels familiar, your subconscious stops resisting. It begins to accept the vision as part of your identity. And that's when the magic begins. Because once your identity shifts, your reality has no choice but to follow. But let's address something crucial. Visualization is not about avoiding pain or pretending problems don't exist. Life will always have challenges. Visualization doesn't erase them, it changes how you meet them. When you embody the frequency of calm, strength, and clarity, challenges stop being threats and start being opportunities. You no longer react with fear. You respond with awareness. And that response creates new outcomes that would have been impossible if you stayed stuck in old emotions. Think about a time when you faced something difficult, but instead of panicking, you stayed centered. Remember how different the result was compared to when you acted out of fear. That's the power of internal alignment. Visualization helps you rehearse that state of alignment every single day. So when real life tests you, you don't collapse back into old patterns. You hold the frequency, and the frequency carries you forward. Here's something to try. Before your next visualization session, pause for a moment and ask yourself, who do I believe I am right now? Notice the answer that arises. Then ask, who would I be if this vision were already true? The difference between those two answers is the gap you are closing through your practice. Visualization is the bridge. Each time you cross it, you bring yourself a little closer to the person you are becoming. And remember, it's not about speed. It's about depth. Some people get frustrated when their vision doesn't manifest quickly. But time is irrelevant when it comes to frequency. What matters is how deeply you embody the feeling of your future. If you truly embody it, time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Life begins to rearrange itself quietly, piece by piece, until one day you wake up and realize you're standing in the vision you once only imagined. Stop asking when will it happen, and start asking who am I becoming as I live this vision? Because the moment you identify with the new version of yourself, the timeline shifts. You no longer chase outcomes, you attract them. You no longer wait for proof, you become the proof. And here's something even more powerful. When you master visualization in this way, it doesn't just change your future, it rewires your past. The memories you once carried with pain begin to soften, because your new identity no longer sees them as scars but as stepping stones. You reinterpret your past through the lens of your new self. Suddenly, the moments you thought were failures become the very events that trained you for this transformation. Visualization isn't just future-focused, it's timeless. It reshapes the way you experience everything. As you move forward in this practice, let every session be more than a picture in your mind. Let it be a rehearsal of your future self, a training ground for your emotions, and a declaration that you are ready to live at a higher frequency. When you close your eyes and truly step into that vision, you're not escaping reality, you're creating it. You're writing the blueprint for the life you are meant to step into. And once you understand that, visualization will never feel like wishful thinking again. It will feel like remembering a truth that has always been waiting for you. There comes a moment in every journey of transformation where the vision no longer feels like something far away. It begins to feel natural, almost obvious, as if you were always meant to arrive there. That is the moment when visualization crosses the boundary from imagination into embodiment, and what once felt like effort begins to flow with ease. You no longer sit down to visualize because you're desperate for change. You do it because it feels like home. You do it because your body, your mind, and your heart are aligned in a frequency that makes you feel alive. Think about the difference between pretending and becoming. Pretending takes effort. It feels heavy, almost forced. But becoming is effortless. When you become the person who naturally thinks, feels, and acts in alignment with your vision, you no longer wonder if it will happen. You know it will because it already has within you. That is the deepest secret of quantum visualization. Reality bends not when you ask it to, but when you embody the version of yourself that no longer questions if it's possible. The truth is, you've already had glimpses of this power in your life. Remember the times when you were so certain about something that no one could shake you? Maybe it was a decision, a relationship, or a dream. That certainty carried an energy that guided your actions and influenced the outcomes. You weren't analyzing or second-guessing, you were moving with conviction. That same energy is the fuel behind powerful visualization. When you claim the vision as your truth, you are no longer rehearsing, you are living. And here's something remarkable. When you live in this state, synchronicities begin to appear. You meet people at the right time. Opportunities show up unexpectedly. Solutions come to you without forcing them. To the logical mind, it looks like coincidence. But to the quantum mind, it's resonance. You have tuned yourself so precisely that the external world rearranges itself to match you. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold naturally. But let's go even deeper. Visualization is not just about creating a new reality. It's about remembering the reality that has always existed within you. At the core of your being, there is already a version of you who is free, abundant, loving, and whole. Visualization is simply the process of removing the layers of doubt, fear, and limitation that covered that truth. Every time you visualize, you peel away those layers. And with each layer gone, the vision feels less like a dream and more like a memory returning to the surface. This is why persistence matters. Not persistence in the sense of grinding or pushing, but persistence and devotion to your inner state. Each time you return to the vision, you strengthen the connection. Each time you feel gratitude in advance, you reinforce the bridge. Each time you breathe into the possibility of your future, you remind your body what it already knows. The practice is not about forcing change. It is about aligning so consistently that change becomes inevitable. And when challenges arise, as they always do, you begin to see them differently. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start to ask, "How is this guiding me closer to my vision?" That simple shift transforms obstacles into teachers. Every setback becomes a signal, redirecting you, sharpening you, preparing you for the exact life you've been visualizing. You stop resisting life and you start collaborating with it. That collaboration is the essence of creation. Now pause for a moment and imagine the ripple effect of you living this way. Imagine the people around you noticing the change in your energy. They see you calmer, clearer, more centered. They watch as doors open for you, as you attract relationships and opportunities that elevate you, and without even realizing it, they begin to shift too. Your frequency becomes contagious. You inspire others not by telling them what to do, but by showing them what is possible. That is how one person's vision can transform an entire community. There is a responsibility that comes with this power, but it is a joyful responsibility, because the more you embody your vision, the more you give others permission to embody theirs. The universe doesn't reward fear or hesitation. It responds to courage and clarity. And when you live with courage, when you hold your vision with clarity, you become a living demonstration of what it means to co-create reality. I want you to carry is this: visualization is not something you do for a few minutes a day. It is a way of living, a way of seeing, a way of feeling. It is the art of remembering who you are before the world convinced you otherwise. And when you live this way, you don't just create a better future, you create a better present. The present becomes infused with meaning, alive with possibility, overflowing with gratitude. And that state of being is the true manifestation. So the question now is not whether visualization works. The question is, are you willing to work with it? Are you willing to devote yourself not to the outcome, but to the practice of becoming? Are you willing to let go of impatience and step fully into trust? If you are, then the vision is already yours. The future you've been waiting for is simply waiting for you to claim it. And here's my invitation to you. Don't keep this journey to yourself. Share it. Talk about it. Practice it openly. Inspire others by being the example. The more people step into this way of living, the more the collective frequency shifts. Imagine a world where millions of people visualize not just for themselves, but for the healing of the planet, for the unity of humanity, for the creation of a future built on love rather than fear. That is the true potential of quantum visualization, and it starts with you. Now it's time to take action. Don't just close this and move on with your day. Sit with your vision tonight. Feel it as if it's real. Let your body believe it. Let your heart expand with gratitude, and then share your journey, because your story could be the spark that ignites someone else's transformation. If this message resonates with you, make sure to subscribe, share this with a friend, and leave a comment about the vision you're ready to embody. Together, we are not just imagining the future, we are creating it.